Chapter 4, Speeds and Their Uses.
One thing that puzzles me, Frank, when we were talking about speeds, you explained that my VM has two speeds, 7 1/2 inches per second and 3 3/4 inches per second. Why such odd numbers?
Well, they're part of tape recording history, Bob, and tape recorder progress. Back in the old days, the first recorders were engineered and manufactured so that 30 inches of tape passed over the record and playback head every second. Compared to today, the tape was poor in performance quality, and so were the heads. So it took that much speed and tape in order to get any kind of acceptable recording at all. As both heads and tape were vastly improved, they found it was possible to cut the speed in half, which they did, to 15 inches per second. Over the years, with continued research and production refinement, this 15 inches per second was cut in half again, and the result was the 7 1/2 inches per second that you have on your recorder. Your 3 3/4 inches per second speed is just 1/2 of your 7 1/2.
Well, how do you use them? I mean, when do you use the faster speed and the slower speed?
Well, as it stands now, the 7 1/2 speed will give you excellent reproduction of both voice and music. The 3 3/4 speed is more than adequate for voice, and many people use it for music as well. However, its sound range isn't as great as the faster speed, so it will depend on how critical your ear, whether the slow or fast speed. I have found in my own experimenting that the 3 3/4 speed is more than adequate for recording from radio, television, and reproducing old phonograph records. Incidentally, these new VM recorders have equalization switches so that your high and low sound ranges will be as good at 3 3/4 speed as many units in the 7 1/2 speed. It's a real tape saver, too. Another thing, Bob, the slower speed is a natural tape saver for correspondence between tape recorder owners. They even have small reels for this purpose. Costs only a few cents to mail them, and your voice carries a lot more personal message than a letter does. Here, Bob, let's see what a tape sounds like when it's played at the wrong speed. Now, here's one that's played too slowly, and I don't think you'll have any trouble recognizing it.
Your VM is one of the finest recorders on the market today. It will serve you long and faithfully. It can bring a wonderful new world of sound to your living room.
That was tape recorded at the 7 1/2 inch speed, which we played at the 3 3/4 inch speed. To correct it, all we have to do is to shift the speed control knob to the 7 1/2 position. Let's rewind and listen to it again at the correct speed.
Your VM is one of the finest recorders on the market today. It will serve you long and faithfully. It can bring a wonderful new world of sound to your living room.
You didn't have any trouble spotting the problem, did you?
Not hardly. Sounded like a chorus of bullfrogs.
That's a pretty good description. Now, suppose we put a tape on the recorder and push the play button, and it sounds like this.
You will find a wonderful new world of music on recorded tape. You can correspond with people from all parts of the globe by joining a tape club. You can learn a foreign language using your recorder.
That's a recording of my wife at Bridge Club. I knew she talked fast, but oh, brother, what a Donald Duck.
It did sound like Donald, didn't it? I think you've guessed, though. It's just the result of playing a tape recorded at 3 3/4 speed, twice as fast as it should be, or at the 7 1/2 speed. Now, let's turn the speed control knob to 3 3/4 inches per second and play it again.
You will find a wonderful new world of music on recorded tape. You can correspond with people from all parts of the globe by joining a tape club. You can learn a foreign language using your recorder.
Now, Bob, suppose a tape sounds like this. This garbled outer space sound that you just heard is actually a good recording being played backward. This happens when someone forgets to rewind the tape after having played it. To correct this, we simply rewind the tape to another reel and play it again, forward this time. I won't bother to do it now, but just remember, if your tape sounds like it was recorded by the Martians, you're playing it backwards.
That's one I'm not likely to forget. But it does sound interesting for sound effects, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, and we'll delve into sound effects later.
Could I sum up proper speed use this way, Frank? Basically, for best reproduction of music, use the 7 1/2 speed, and for talking voice, use the 3 3/4 speed.
That's a good, safe bet. For taking notes or dictating or recording conferences speeches from radio or television, and things of this nature, the 3 3/4 speed is certainly more than adequate.
We have now come to the end of the first track. Please rewind the tape back on the original reel. Place the selector switch in the 2-3 position and play it through again.